Dunoon, Scotland, a small town of just over 8,000 people. Mainly known for the historical Castle Mound, Dunoon is not known for their love of hockey. But for one Scot, hockey means everything.
I think the thing I'm looking forward to the most is meeting, obviously seeing my first dance game for the first time in my life, but it's also meeting everyone that I've been speaking to over the past 6 months, and especially the guys at Dawg Nation. I cannot wait to meet them.
Andy Bernard had a dream to come to Colorado and see his beloved Avalanche play on home ice for the first time and fulfill a promise to an old friend. After buying his plane ticket, Andy began to reach out to some locals on an Avalanche fan page. His goal, to find a place to stay during his trip and experience Colorado with some native fans, who he found would not only define his trip, but change his life forever.
Mike Sullivan is a 71-year-old Vietnam vet that plays on our team. Awesome guy. And Mike actually he used to work in PR back in his day.
I'm actually the person in Dawg Nation kind of responsible for the social media contact, which I guess says a lot about those young guys not knowing what they're doing. Because of that, I'm on the web a lot, and I'm on Facebook, and I'm looking through, and I see a story on one of the AV pages that there's this young man in Scotland who's looking to come over and see an Avs game because he's the #1 Scottish fan in the world.
Mike reached out to him, and really what Andy was looking for was a place to maybe get put up, save a few bucks on hotels, and looking for some fun stuff to do in Colorado while he was here.
And it originally started off just me posting on to see if anyone would let me crash with them. I bought my own tickets for the flights, and I was going to buy my own tickets for the games as well. And there was a few people that were like, yeah, you could come and stay with us, and I had a few things sorted, but then Sully contacted me, and he told me about Dawg Nation and what they do.
I sent him a message, Andy, you can stay with us. You can stay with us for 2 weeks if you need to, no problem. And then I thought, well, he's coming all this way. I'm gonna at least get him tickets or something. Take care of him a little bit more than just have him at the house.
So Sully reached out to his dear friend and fellow dog, Martin Richardson. Andy's heartfelt story inspired the members of Dawg Nation to make Andy's trip something he would never forget.
He came to Colorado on January 6th, and we met him there with banners and placards welcoming him to Colorado, and the journey took off from there.
I thought it was only going to be a few people there, and then I saw the one Go Dogs sign, and then a big line of people, and my grin just stretched from here to here. It was, I think if I hadn't been so tired, I would have gotten quite emotional. I'm absolutely exhausted after that, the travelling. So going back to Sully's tonight, just to settle in, and it's all a surprise for me that I've been told, so I don't really know what's going to be happening. So I'm just trying to prepare myself for any eventuality. I'm so excited. I want to just experience Colorado as well as seeing the Avs as well. And I know there's quite a lot of people that are wanting to meet up with me as well, and just like swap stories, have a bit of fun, and yeah, I'm excited to just do the full package.
In 2010, a small group of guys decided to get together to form an adult hockey team. Little did they know that this would be the beginning of something special.
I always loved hockey, and I always played pond hockey, but I never really played on an organized team. And right in my late 30s, I decided, some guys asked if I wanted to play, and so I went ahead and played. The team was okay. It wasn't, we were one of the lower end teams, but I didn't really, I didn't feel like a bond with many of the players. So I lived near the Edge Ice Arena, and they were building this rink. And I went over there and met the guy who was going to be the rink manager there, and asked about an adult league. And he says, yeah, we're just now signing up teams. So I signed a team up, and we were the very first team to sign up at the Edge Ice Arena, and I called it the Junkyard Dogs. I didn't really have a name. I just said, we'll just call it that. And we were honestly the worst team in the league. We'd lose all our games, but I could tell the guys, I mean, it was it was how I kind of was looking for a team. And really, even after 1 year, Mike Pijanowski came on with Dave Chamberlain and Dennis Heaton, who are now some of my best friends and board members today. And Al Sterner came on as our goalie, and we got a little bit better and better. And along that same time period, I'd go to drop-in hockey to find players. And I'd, notice which guys were pretty better players. And I noticed this one guy, pretty gifted skater and good guy, and I'd chat up on the bench between shifts, and that happened to be Jack Kelly.
Jack Kelly and Marty quickly became friends. Initially bonding over hockey, they discovered that they had many other things in common.
My husband was a hockey player all through growing up, and we lived in Colorado, and he wanted to get back into hockey. And he met Marty Richardson, and they started playing hockey together. And he got on one of the original Dawg Nation teams. And, it kind of became a brotherhood to him.
Jack was a lot like me. He has 3 daughters. I have 3 daughters. Jack, believe it or not, played college soccer, just like I did. So we had a lot in common. And what we'd do is every couple months we'd go to lunch together, and we'd talk about hockey. We'd talk about life. We'd talk about how to raise a teenage daughter.
Quickly, word of the Dogs spread, and interest in joining the team grew. It became apparent that they would need to start a second team. Thus, Dogs 2 was born. They would go on to compete in the summer tournament and win the championship. Sadly, soon after, the Dogs would face a rush of adversity.
2009, we actually won, Dogs 2 won the summer championship, and it was pretty cool. It was the last one that Jack won, and with us. Jack was, he was a fitness freak. And unlike the rest of us, we kind of just gained a few pounds over the years, so on and so forth. Jack knew exactly how much he could bench press, exactly how fast he could run a 5K, and his weight never fluctuated. A couple guys on team knew I was close to him, and they said, something's going on with Jack. He's getting skinny. And so I went on one of my lunches, and we went to the Morrison Inn and had a lunch, and I asked him straight up, and he said I noticed he told me he was getting weaker. He didn't know what was going on, and he actually thought it might be leukemia or something blood related, and I was like, dude, you need to go see a doctor. But it turned out it didn't really matter if he saw a doctor or not. The next week he actually went into a coma.
He came down with an autoimmune disease, and he got it very severely, very quickly.
Jack had a very rare form of scleroderma, an autoimmune disease. Unfortunately, there is no known cure for the disease, and Jack's condition had progressed at an alarming pace. Jack was facing a long road ahead, but his family and friends would never leave his side.
He spent most of the next 6 months in the hospital, and I kept going, he's going to get better. He's going to get better. I know he's going to get better. And I'd give the guys updates. I do remember finally seeing him in that spring, and he weighed 80 pounds.
It got to all of us, because I think for many of us, it was the very first time that a close friend that we played hockey with was suffering as significantly as he was.
Jack's condition continued to worsen, and a full recovery seemed to become more and more unlikely. On top of that, the Dogs would discover that even more of their teammates were facing tremendous obstacles.
At that point, I knew Jack wasn't going to make it. And so, but at the same crazy time, you had Dennis, who had a broken leg. We also had Danny Packard at that time, who had thyroid cancer. Young man. We had Dave Chamberlain on our team battling prostate cancer. And to top everything else off, we had a young 36-year-old Andy Gary somehow get colon cancer. So all of this happened to our team all at the same time. And mind you, we were only Dogs 1, Dogs 2. That's about 30 guys.
The Dogs were facing challenges from all sides, but instead of giving up, Marty and the Dogs decided to stand up and lend their hand to their teammates. What happened next would change their path forever.
I felt that it was really important for those 3 daughters who were going to see their dad every week, that they would be able to see their dad, and then go and have something to eat for dinner. And so I said, you know what, money's not a big deal, but why don't we throw some money in and buy gift cards, and each girl will get a stack of them. And so I threw my hat in the middle of the room. I gave our players, Mike will remember this, maybe about 4 hours notice. Here's our lineup tonight, here's who in, here's who out. By the way, there's gonna be a hat in the middle of the room, it's for this. And lo and behold, you'd think maybe $100 had landed in there. $1,500 landed in that hat. So I knew we had a special group at that point.
Marty and the boys took us into their fold and knew that we were spending tons of time at the hospital with Jack, and brought us gift cards and came to visit us at the house and visited him at the hospital. So we just totally felt a kinship with them from the start.
One of the last things he did when I visited him, he told me to bring a laptop to the hospital. I said, why? And he goes, you'll find out. And he goes, and also bring a couple Molsons. And I forgot the Molsons. He wasn't supposed to drink, but he reprimanded me and made me go back down to a liquor store and get a couple Molsons and hide them in my backpack. Came up and he ordered sweatshirts for everybody for a Christmas present. That's who this guy is. Jack did pass away. First time I've lost a close friend in my life, and it was tough. And I had the honor to get to speak at his funeral. It was something I'll never forget that I got to do. At the end of that funeral, I said to Jack's 3 daughters and his wife, I'm gonna do something in your dad's honor, I don't know what it is. At that point, we had, the 3 guys with cancer were all declared cancer-free. We were feeling pretty good, you know, we lost Jack, but the rest of the guys are doing all right. And so December 22nd came out, and I have a pond in the mountains where we play pond hockey, and I was out there clearing it. My phone rang, and it was Andy Gary, and I'm like, cool, and Andy's calling me to wish me Merry Christmas. He didn't. He called me to tell me his cancer was back. And so it was a blow right there, and I said, this is it. We got to do it.
8 of us decided to get together and form a foundation to try to raise money for adult hockey players that had some troubles in the past, either through illness or injury. So 8 of us all got together, combined IQ of about 39, and tried to start a charitable foundation. You know, what could possibly go wrong, right?
We set a meeting up. It was at my parents' house in the mountains, and everybody chipped in $100, and that paid for the cost it would be to become a 501c3. And we hit the ground rolling.
After losing Jack and seeing another close friend facing difficulties with their health, the Dogs leapt into action. They started planning ways to raise funds for their newly founded nonprofit, the Dawg Nation Hockey Foundation.
The timing of the starting of the foundation was somewhat coincident with me having a turn toward the bad side in my health. Chatted with Marty, and I kind of thought maybe something was up. I said, hey, are you doing something for me? I didn't really know what Dawg Nation was yet. I knew what the idea was and that it existed. And he fessed up. He said, yeah, we were gonna do something special, and you know, we did some fundraising. We were gonna give you a check to help with medical bills and such.
And by April of that year, April 1st, we had our first Dog Bowl. We had an amazing silent auction, from the Avs donating stuff to the Chicago Blackhawks to even Alex Ovechkin gave us a signed game-used helmet. So amazing stuff. There was only 24 teams in that first tournament, but we still brought in 25, 30 grand, and that we were able to give a nice chunk of that to the Gary family.
It was pretty amazing, just being out there. We did that on the ice during the hockey tournament, and the stands kind of filled up with a lot of people up there. And just seeing all those people, just the fact that they would bother to come and sit in the stands was a show of support for me and for what me and my family were going through at that time. It was pretty overwhelming.
From here, Dawg Nation would begin sprinting forward, never to look back.
It's really taken off since then. We've raised a lot of money, and we've given a lot of money away. We don't take anything for this ourselves other than the joy of helping somebody out that's going through some tough times.
It was really just a way to reach out and help people. That was kind of and we had a group of guys that were more than willing to do that. The most generous people I know in this world all wear dog jerseys.
That generosity and dedication would lead Dawg Nation to help many people in the hockey community. Andy's story would be no different.
I had talked to Andy several times beforehand, and we had set up that he was going to stay with us, Dawg's players, throughout the weekend, the 2 weeks that he was here. He got to be part of our bubble hockey tournament, play bubble hockey against NHL greats.
I don't actually have words for it. It's been a surprise after surprise after surprise. Woke up this morning, went to a water park with Sully and his grandson, which was awesome. Went for a tour of the Pepsi Centre, saw Eric Carlson, met half the Nuggets. It's been. Then I got told that I got tickets to the Broncos as well on Sunday. So it's been. Considering it's the very first day, it's been unbelievable for my first day. If you could take a moment and put it into a bottle and keep that moment forever, it would be this first day.
The story kind of went that Andy was in Afghanistan in the British Army, where he met a U.S. soldier named Isaac Polymeris. And Isaac was actually watching a Chris Osgood, Patrick Waugh fight on his phone, and Andy looked over his shoulder and said, "What is that?" And he told him all about ice hockey. When Andy's tour ended, Isaac gave him his Joe Sakic jersey on the condition that Andy would come back to Colorado, watch a game with him. And unfortunately, shortly thereafter, Isaac was killed in an IED attack.
It's the fact I took it for granted at first, because I didn't fully understand just how much it would affect my life later on. For me at first, it was just like, oh, cool, he taught me about hockey, he was a cool guy, yeah. And then after I found out that he was killed, that kind of hit home a bit. But then, still not realising just how much he changed my life. It was not until a few years after when I sat back and I was just like, this is the only reason that I watch hockey and I go and see the Clan is because of this guy that I met in Afghan.
They only met him for a week or so, and they became really close, and it kind of resonated with me a little bit too, because my whole life I was wound up being in public relations in hockey and everything else. Well, the only reason I got involved in hockey is because some friend of my father's took me to a game, somebody that we didn't know that well, or I didn't know that well, and I saw one game and bam, I'm a hockey fanatic, you know.
In the few days that Andy spent with Isaac, his future would be dramatically changed. Even after Isaac's untimely passing, he would live on in Andy's memory forever.
And that was back in '08, so it's been quite a while. 6 years later, Andy gathered his pennies together, been saving up for this, and he's become a big, passionate Avs fan in Scotland, if he can do that.
And I've never been able to shut up about hockey, to be honest. Which is the downside about coming from Scotland and living in a small town here. No one else here watches hockey, so I'm up watching the Avs game and I'm typing on Facebook like, Avs have scored. When I go to work, they're just like, well, we should shut up about the Avs. And I'm just like, but you guys going about football all the time. Why can't I go on about the Avs? That's my love. That's my passion.
Andy was preparing for his first Avalanche game the following day, fulfilling a promise he had made so many years before to Isaac.
Mega stoked for it, mega stoked. My last 6 years have been kind of boiling down to this point tomorrow, my very first Avs game, so I cannot wait,
What was in store for Andy when he arrived at the Pepsi Center would set the tone for the rest of his trip. Marty had reached out to a member of the Colorado Avalanche's community relations team who would assist with Andy's grand welcome.
As soon as I heard the story, I said, the first thing that popped into my mind is this is a hero of the game story. And I know the Avs do it. And so as soon as I heard it and kind of put a few of the pieces together, and I went to Deb Dowling who works for the Avs, and she's my main contact there, and just awesome lady. And we sat down with it was quite a few people in the room, several Avs people and a couple of folks from Dawg Nation, and I gave them the story and said, you guys probably want your Kleenexes out for this one. This is a good story, and told them, and I said, what do you guys think? Hero of the game story? And they said, yeah, that sounds like something we can put together.
We first show up at the game early, because we told him we could go down and watch the warm-ups. We got permission to do that, so that was, he was excited about that. Well, just before we do that, of course, Marty comes by, and it was a surprise to me too, because Marty didn't tell me this piece. He was going to surprise me. We wind up being taken upstairs to the executive offices of the Avalanche, taken into a boardroom, and then all of a sudden, who walks in but Joe Sakic with a signed jersey for Andy. Andy was, it got so emotional. It was, it touches everybody. You can't get away from it. He's so enthusiastic and so energetic and so taken by everything that it made everybody just feel really great that we could do this. Towards the end of the first period, all of a sudden, or I guess maybe it was the second period, all of a sudden the camera goes on and pictures go up of Isaac and hero of the game, and Andy is like, oh my God, it's like, what? And seeing himself on that screen is huge there, it's kind of impressive.
Andy and Isaac were honored as the heroes of the game, which brought Andy to tears. The memory of Isaac gleaming on the screen above thousands seemed a fitting end to his journey. But it wouldn't end there. Since their inception, Dawg Nation has helped many within the community, whether helping someone cope with an injury or supporting a family in the hockey community dealing with loss. Dawg Nation always seemed to be there. However, early on, it was difficult to gain notice.
When we became a nonprofit, the full intent was from day one, we're going to help the hockey community. We thought it might be $100 here, $1,000 here. We didn't think it would be like what it is. Early on, it was hard to find recipients. We actually would have to go find them ourselves, and because people didn't know who we were. We're all volunteer. We have no budget. Nobody knows who Dawg Nation is. So how are they going to know they're going to help us? So we had to kind of go mine them ourselves. And Vern came to a board meeting and said, "Hey fellas, there's this guy, young kid. He got paralyzed." And so we were like, well, we can help this guy.
I was just kind of like basically just playing beer league down in Westminster with the scouts, just like all these kids that I had played with over the years. We formed a hockey team, and on Halloween I went out to a Halloween party, and as we left, we were driving, and a driver just like skipped the light and kind of T-boned us, and I was right there. Like, I took the brunt of the hit, I guess you could say. And I broke my neck in like 3 different places. And after that, spent an extended time in the ICU.
After Cody's accident, a family friend brought it to the attention of Dawg Nation. They immediately knew what they wanted to do to assist Cody and his family.
When Dawg Nation heard about it, they immediately tried to come up with some funds to help out. But they also realized that the family just wasn't ready to deal with this kind of trauma. And they organized a bunch of dogs that know what they're doing, unlike me, and could, build ramps and remodel downstairs so that they could take care of the needs of this young man.
I go, you guys want to come out to this guy's house and let's tell him about Dawg Nation and ask him about building a ramp. I think it'd be really, really cool. Make a ramp there with dog logo on, and we make our mark there. Cody was supposed to come home in 3 weeks. He was at Craig at the time. Really, he couldn't move. I mean, he was relearning life. And I'm looking at this house, and Rob and Matt and Phil were measuring on how to make and I look at the door, I said, is that a handicap-sized door? No, the wheelchair wouldn't even fit through it. And I said, what do you think if we do a little bit more than a ramp?
So we helped organize not only to raise some money to help him buy the MV1 so he's able to get around now, but more than that, we went and actually rolled up our sleeves and helped remodel his house, put hardwood floors in so his wheelchair could get around, put in ramps so he can get in and out the front and the back.
It was like a TV show. Literally in that 12, 14-hour day, we completely remodeled that house on the main floor. And I And Mike and I, it was late at night, we had a Molson here, and we were popping in the hardwood floor there. It was awesome.
Before even meeting Cody, the Dogs had completely renovated the Beekmans' home. In just a few weeks, they had taken their entire house and made it handicap accessible. But they weren't finished there.
The next week, we went down to Craig Hospital, and we went into his room, and his mom, Debbie, said, "Can you go in first to me and talk to Cody and tell him about Dawg Nation, because he's going to be overwhelmed." It was really, really cool, because then everybody came in.
Next thing you know, they had just a whole bunch of Avalanche swag and hanging out in my room. First time I ever met them, and they were like just the friendliest people ever. Like everybody always had a smile and just like so interested in who I was, not just like being an injured person, but you know, just as a human being.
And what I kind of sprung it on all the folks there. Everybody that was in that room had just worked on Cody's house the week before. And I kind of put everybody on the spot and said, "What did it mean to you to do this last week?" And every person cried.
Not only had Dawg Nation walked in to help Cody and his family, but they accepted Cody as one of their own, becoming a lifelong member of Dawg Nation.
So, Dawg Nation to me is more than just, you know, handing somebody a check and feeling good for a few minutes and walking away and going on with your life. It's a support group.
Ever since I've been around the Dawg Nation and all the dogs, is just there's so many nice people that flock to this organization, or this family, if you will. I mean, I've met so many great people, like some new friends, a whole lot of new friends.
While the Dogs get opportunities to roll up their sleeves and help, there are times that all they can do is reach out to a family for support.
So my daughter was 2.5 years old. Her name was Carly. We found out a little after she was born, she had 2 holes in her heart. We had one of them surgically repaired when she was just a little over 6 months old. It was May 2013, and into May, and we were getting ready for my older daughter's high school graduation, and Carly started looking cyanotic blue. We took her into the hospital, and they told us that she had pulmonary hypertension and her heart was enlarged. They knocked her out. We said goodbye to her because they told us it could be serious. Her heart went into ventricular tachycardia, which means it started racing and not being effective, beating extremely fast. And so they put her on a circulation machine, which is called ECMO. The next day, which was my other daughter's graduation day, actually, they did a CT scan and then told me that she wasn't going to be viable. Her brain had swelled too much, and that she wasn't going to live. And then the next day we chose to take her off of the ECMO device and let her go.
Leif and his family suffered a tragic loss, which echoed throughout the Dawg Nation community.
I'd held this girl on my lap, and she'd been to our games, and when I heard about their loss and wanted to get involved and found out that they had a significant financial hole, we stepped in.
So Marty approached the board and they began working on plans to help Leif and his family. Not only were they going to provide monetary assistance for Carly's service, but they planned a very special presentation alongside Leif's hockey team, the Army of Darkness.
Everybody on his team knew we were going to stop the game in the middle of the game and honor him. Everybody on the other team knew it too. And these are all big, strong hockey guys, and Leif's big, strong guy and a firefighter himself. And
they stopped the game between the second and third period, and I thought, that's odd. And our whole team got onto the ice except for me, And I thought, what are we doing? We still have another period to play. Then they rolled out a carpet, and my wife and older daughter, who was 18 at the time, walked out, and I realized what was going on. They were already crying. I started to cry. I just like threw my helmet. I didn't even. It was an overwhelming experience.
He literally couldn't stand up. He had to be held by his wife and the other players. It was pretty powerful. And then we told the poor guy he had to go play the third period.
Dawg Nation went above and beyond the monetary donation to Leif and his family to show them that no matter what, they would always be there to help.
We had her ashes turned into diamonds, and it helped us pay for all of that. It was amazing. They presented to us one of our team jerseys, a small, extra small, I think, framed with our whole team signed it. And they retired her number because she was 2. They made it number 2. When you have a close family member, especially one of your children die, it's hard to move on day to day. And so the bigger group of people who just say, we understand how much it hurts, is incredible.
We weren't able to touch anything about their hurt, but for a little while there, we made somebody's day better. And the whole organization owns me now, ever since, and always will.
There's a lot of people in need. There's a lot of people that tragedy strikes. And to have other people, especially people that care so much, to help them. I mean, people don't expect it. People, have devastating injuries or illnesses. And it's just, to have people help you out is just amazing, and it gives you hope, and it's almost like you feel like you can't give up on your struggles or with your therapy or whatever it takes.
Dawg Nation has touched so many lives and helped families through life-altering events. Their impact on Andy would be just as powerful. Andy Barnard spent his first few days in Colorado hanging out with the guys at Dawg Nation, attending his first NHL game and experiencing the many joys of Colorado. But there was one thing that seemed to be missing from his trip.
I asked Andy, I said, what was the guy's name in Colorado? And he said, Chad. And I said, well, what's his last name? I don't know. So Andy said, I didn't really know him all that well, and I just knew him by his first name, and that was his nickname more than his real name. And so it was like, so he had to call some of his other Army buddies, British Army buddies, and they came back with Isaac Palomares and found out that he was from Loveland, played football on their high school championship team, so on and so forth. And then I kind of passed it over to Sully.
So we were able to reach out then and find out where his parents were, and was able to get in contact with them. And they're just amazing people, and immediately we're responding to the fact that yes, they'd love to meet Andy, and then it took on a life of its own.
So Dawg Nation arranged for Andy to meet Isaac's family. After making some phone calls, the date was set.
I can't put it into words. I'm so humbled that they agreed to come and meet me. It was just a very, very special moment for me.
It's just awesome, and it's we're honored, and we're happy that his friends haven't forgotten him, and nobody's forgotten him. And it's very special to us.
Anytime that Isaac comes up, and somebody wants to honor him, that is very, very special to us. And I'm sure that he's going to become very special to us.
Everything that I dreamed it would be. It was very, very emotional, and I'm the type of guy that tries to hold back my feelings, and just there, it was a very special moment for me, and it's one that I'll always remember for the rest of my life.
Not only had Andy fulfilled his promise to Isaac, but he got to meet his family, providing him with closure he wasn't sure he would ever get.
I can't express my feelings and my gratitude enough for the guys at Dawg Nation for being able to pull this off, to bring me over from Scotland to meet Isaac's parents. It was just unbelievable. It's a very special moment that I'll cherish for the rest of my life. I feel like the emotional weight is over. I was so nervous about this moment, but now that it's happened and I've met his parents, I feel like my trip's now complete. Like everything that I wanted to do and come over here to do, the main thing, meeting Isaac's family, I can go home happy now.
After everything Dawg Nation had done for Andy, he wanted to do something to show his appreciation. One night, when talking with Marty, Andy had an idea.
Well, it started, Marty was telling me that all the guys at Dawg Nation had a tattoo, and as a joke I said that I'll get a tattoo as well, and I don't think Marty realised it was a joke at the time, and when I saw Marty get excited about it, it became a reality, and then I said as a joke, I'll get it somewhere where no one else has, I'll get it on Mars, on my backside, and that was supposed to be a joke, and that turned out well, didn't it?
Andy had officially been accepted as part of the Dawg Nation family. He had experienced the joys of his first Avalanche game and finally found closure in regards to his friend, Isaac.
There's so many things that have happened, it's really hard to actually put it down to just a couple, but meeting Joe Sakic was like probably one of the greatest moments of my life. Having my face appear up in the Jumbotron, the hometown hero, that was amazing. I got very emotional that happened as well, and also meeting Isaac's parents, and even I met some of his friends a few nights ago as well. Something that I've been trying to do for a long, long time, and it's always been there, is something that I wasn't able to do, and now I feel complete. I feel like I've came here and done what I needed to do, and I've just fallen in love with the place that much that I want to stay.
He ended up coaching my kids' soccer team. He, during that time period, walking my dogs, being at the kitchen table and cleaning up, and just like another person in the family. And it was really just really nice to get to know him on a personal level.
It's like no matter what kind of background they come from or what their financial circumstances, every single person that I stayed with all loved Dawg Nation, and they all had that same kind of core value of supporting people that are in need. And just like me, the guys put me up, they didn't have to, but they did, and they took me out exploring, and it was so humbling just to see how much these guys wanted to show me what they do and what Colorado was all about. And yeah, I've had the time of my life here.
Dawg Nation has grown tremendously since their inception and have drawn the attention of Fortune 500 companies, the NHL, and television personalities.
I just have found that every single event they do touches someone in a way much more meaningful than you could ever do on your own, and much more meaningful than I see in many other non-for-profits. And so it just, the inspiration and the sense of family, the sense of hope that it gives to the survivors, that's what really attracts me to it. And so I spend as much time as I can helping out not only Dawg Nation, but the people of Dawg Nation. The amount of work, the selfless work that all the volunteers put in to, whether it's the Dog Bowl or whether it's the comedy night or one of a plethora of various events they have, and then you see the survivors and you see the impact, and that's what just humbles you, because you can, all of us have challenges in life, and all of us sometimes get down in the dumps. All you have to do is talk to a survivor once, and you realize that we're quite blessed with what we have in life.
These people are the best people in the world. I'm so proud to be part of this organization. Just in the contribution that I make, I've never had anything be more rewarding in my whole life. And these guys are not only going to be teammates, but these guys are going to be friends forever. And this is just a huge part of my life right now.
Everybody that I've met in Dawg Nation is just great people that are concerned about other people and love the game and love being out with people and helping other people. So I think that it's really a tribute to the kind of synergy that you get when a bunch of like-minded people get together. And it becomes all about the group as opposed to any of us as individuals.
You got a lot of these guys that are not known for having a tender heart and a sensitive side in general, and that are so loyal and so willing to give, and so there's so much camaraderie.
The amount of time and commitment that organization gives to people who, request their support is an epic amount of support. It's something more than you could ever ask for. That they come with their A game and they support you 100%. I mean, there's no doubt about it that they're an epic organization.
But of everything Dawg Nation has done, there is one man that keeps everything going. No matter who you talk to within Dawg Nation, they will all tell you that Martin Richardson is the lifeblood of the organization.
Number one, Dawg Nation doesn't exist without Martin Richardson, Cappy, the dog father. Out of 168 hours a week, I think he sleeps 10.
He is the most can't say no person I have ever met, because everything that he has done, he's asked me to do, is for the absolute right reason.
He is the dog father, so you can't be called that without having a family. And I think that's the thing that is so great, is that no matter how much it's grown, it still feels like such a family. And I think that's one of the most unique aspects of it, but the most important. And I think it's just nice having another little family running around, skating around.
For me, the best feeling in the world is to help someone that's in need. And to come away, the feeling that you get from a Debbie Beekman and a Phil Beekman when they're at wit's end. They don't know what they're gonna do, and you can come in and do that and help them at the end of the day, and the tears and the hugs, they're real.
Everything he does is for these guys. There is no him involved. And when he calls you 15 times, it's because he wants you to do something for these guys.
Even with as much as Marty does, every single person involved makes Dawg Nation what it is today. It goes beyond just monetary support. Dawg Nation is by the side of each recipient for life.
They'll be a part of my life forever. From my life, my kids' lives. What they are doing for people is so amazing. The things I've seen, from helping people with seeing eye dogs to monetary things, it's just incredible what Marty has done and the entire Dawg Nation group. And I want to be part of it. I want to give back to them and help them help other people.
I just want to help as many people as I can, and that's what Dawg Nation's all about. So for me, being involved is just a perfect partner to be involved with.
It doesn't matter whether you're playing on a dog team or whether you're playing in a league that we're in or whether you're from another part of the state. We're interested in helping hockey players that need help. So I think growing the base so that we become, not a group of 40 or 50, but a group of 500 or 1,000 that are all focused on the same goal of helping people.
What's really unique about what we found here at Dawg Nation is cancer and other illnesses, it's just insidious. It's everywhere, and everybody knows somebody. So virtually in any city that plays hockey in the United States, we could probably populate a home and an away team of survivors, as well as referees, just like we have here for 4 different dog bowls.
We have a couple challenges. The first is all of us on the board are all volunteer. And that limits the amount of time and energy that we can put into it. We're very, very blessed to have Marty as our dog father, because he has so much energy and so much passion.
Who can tell where it's going to go now? It seems like it's starting to explode. We did an event with a charity in Los Angeles, in Las Vegas last year with the Kings and Avalanche organization. That was spectacular.
I would just like to see it keep getting bigger and bigger, and maybe get some national exposure where it might portray into different cities across the country.
If it continues to grow the way it is, I really don't see how I can have a regular job. and but at the same time, I think the charm of Dawg Nation is it's all volunteer. But at some point, I think we're going to have to make a decision on. We've been approached by groups in LA and in Philadelphia that want to have Dawg Nations there.
I would love to see it be, a well-known national name in every hockey community and family, without losing that family aspect, though.
I would love to see it grow. I like to see a Dawg Nation sticker on, on a professional ice rink, just sitting there right underneath the ice at center ice. I don't know. I just want to see them keep helping people. I believe Dawg Nation will conquer the world.
Why do the people involved in Dawg Nation continue to do what they do? It's simple. Each and every one of them just wants to make the world a better place.
The feeling you get when you see somebody, tear up and know that you've just helped them out, you can't imagine it.
It's a feeling that I don't think you can replicate unless you do something like this.
So where does Dawg Nation go from here? No one is sure. But the one thing that everyone does know is that Dawg Nation will be around for a long time. Hopefully, one day, you will see them in every city across America. As for those involved with Dawg Nation now, they will continue to do what they do best, helping those in need.